Hi, I'm astrologer Penny Dix. Welcome to another Astrobite. And today's has not only some astrology in it and a word for the day, but also some astronomy. Because today, February the 28th, Friday, the last day of February, is going to be significant from an astronomy point of view, because tonight, if you can find a fairly undiluted or polluted area of sky from the lights of where you live, cities, towns, if you can get out into the country, you will see an amazing celestial lineup. And this celestial lineup will start after around 6 to 7 p.m. and that is Central European time. But you need to find a place with unobstructed view and look to the west. So this is just after the sun sets. So Mercury and Saturn, they will be very low on the western horizon and they'll set quite quickly after the sun does. And because they are so close to the sun, then it's not always very easy to see them, but they are there. But obviously if you're a professional astronomer or astrologer, you may have binoculars or a telescope to help you with this. Now, Venus is a really bright, shining planet, and it'll be much easier to see because it'll be above the western horizon shortly after sunset. And it's so bright that it's really difficult to not see it. And I've seen it some evenings if I've been out and driving home from somewhere and I'm driving west. It's almost like you just go, oh, wow, I have to stop and have a look at this, because you can just feel the energy of this planet. Now, you have to look to the southern sky to find Mars. And Mars has a reddish hue, and it'll be higher in the sky to the position of Venus. Jupiter, which you may be able to see because it will just be a silvery pinpoint of light, that's going to be visible in the southwestern sky. Now, Uranus and Neptune, which are also in this visual alignment, they're so far away you can't see them with the naked eye. You do need a strong telescope or binoculars. But Uranus will be near Jupiter, and while Neptune will be closer to where you saw Venus in the sky. But you do have to kind of sort of really time your viewing to just after sunset. So if you are in a situation where you can go somewhere to look at the night sky, assuming the sky is clear, I haven't actually looked to see what the weather is going to be like here tonight in Gozo, but I think it's really worth me going out there and having a look. And, you know, it's a rare event, and this won't happen again until 2040. So it really is a good opportunity to actually get a sense of the solar system that we live in, because these are the planets that accompany us and hold the harmony of balance as we all orbit the sun, our star. Astrologically, there's not really any significant meaning because they are, in fact, in astrologically, we've got the moon, the sun, Saturn, Mercury, the north node, Neptune, all in Pisces, and Venus and Chiron in Aries, Uranus is in Taurus, Jupiter is in Gemini, and Mars is in Cancer. So if you look at an astrology chart, they're actually more spread out and they're not in a straight line. But the astronomy, I think, is really helpful when you're studying astrology to just get you in touch with the energies of what we are living with. So what about the astrology? Because today, of course, is the day of the new moon in Pisces. Hence, we have all this wonderful energy, this imaginative, kind of empathic, sympathetic, and wonderfully creative energy abounding today. I did, as you know, there's on my channel, you've got my new moon in Pisces video, and I do go into it in quite a lot of depth. So I'm not going to go into it in depth in the same way in this short video, but I do have a word for the day to represent this new moon, which I think will be quite useful. But I do want to talk about the fact that we have every single planet at the moment direct. So the last few days, we have had this energy of direct energy, which is symbolically, it's all systems go. But this is really when the orchestra come into the orchestra pit in the theatre, and they are practicing and tuning their instruments and making sure they have the right tone and the right key. Because things don't really kind of start to manifest, shift, or take off till we get a sense of it this coming month of March. And then in April and May, we are going to see massive mega changes happening all around us in every single area of life. So it is an important new moon and a super exciting new moon. My cats are doing zoomies up and down the corridor. They're picking up my energy, I think, or the energy of the new moon. So what about this new moon? Because the chart, which if you go to my, excuse me, new moon video chart, you can see it because it's on the video. The chart has most of the planets, apart from Mars, in the lower hemisphere of the chart. Now, what this represents is that there's something here about what is gestating within. What we are really feeling is, it's like the magic of conception, the magic that happens within the womb that we just have no concept of how, you know, the conception, how the sperm finds the egg and they unite and start to form a baby, which is this miracle of life, and that life spark is there. So there is something about this new moon, which is this magic of conception, of birth, of rebirth. And with the energies direct, it feels almost as if, and maybe 9 months is a significant point of timing, because maybe that is when we will start to really get a sense of the results of what is being birthed with this new moon. Because 9 months would be, this is where I have to count on my fingers, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. Actually, November, that is quite interesting. Yeah, November could be a time of huge reflection and where we look back and think, whoa, look what has unfolded throughout 2025. So quite an important, exciting energy. The event chart has Sagittarius on the ascendant, which I find super interesting because the ruler of Sagittarius is Jupiter. Jupiter is in Gemini. Jupiter is a planet that lifts us up into the heavens. It it takes wings, it takes flight, it goes up into the spiritual kind of higher self dimensions where we can really feel that we connect with the numinosity and frequencies that somehow we get the sense then that we are all connected and part of one huge divine mind. The part of fortune is on the ascendant. So even though with this new moon, which I feel is a little bit like gestation, confinement, containment, pregnancy, there is the promise of good fortune coming from what is going on around you at this time. But it is not the right time for it to manifest yet. Saturn is on the IC, so it's opposite the MC, the top of the chart. And Saturn is kind of grounding the numinosity and the tendency for us to fly or float away with the potential of this new moon in Pisces, of the wish to manifest that which we would like to invite into our lives. So Saturn is just keeping us marking time. It's sextiling Uranus and saying, be prepared, because there are some unexpected twists and turns that you can't possibly see or know about at this point. So know and have faith that the timing of that which you wish to bring into your life is being directed by a higher influence, and that the delays or the slowness that might be there are absolutely necessary. And, you know, we've got Neptune conjunct the North Node. And so you have this also, because they're in Pisces, this energy of destiny. I think if we think about what is happening on the world stage and what has been unfolding this week, or may yet to be unfolding this week. I'm recording these on Wednesday the 26th. And His Holiness the Pope is still in what they term a critical condition in hospital. And how that unfolds, only the divine knows. All I know is that a new moon in Pisces square Jupiter can indicate change that is perhaps challenging change. Let's put it that way. But that sextile from Uranus in Taurus to Saturn and Mercury and the North Node and Neptune is kind of like, oh, there is so much more that is going to be revealed. What I'm actually sensing is when we have a new spiritual leader of the traditional Catholic Church, whether that's sooner or later, there are going to be revelations made more public from the library in the Vatican. I don't know where that came from. That's probably my BLBs, my blue light beings, but that's just popped in, so it's popped in, so I'm saying it. The other energy is that Jupiter is also sextiling Neptune in the node, saying, whatever leaves to make way for the new at this time, because it's a new moon, but sometimes remember, new moons have to bring with them endings. But whatever it is that comes in, it's timely and it's time. It's time for whatever comes in the next little while. It's time. So, as I continue to wax lyrical, we'll go on to our word for the day. And I'll just remind you that tomorrow, Saturday, is the 1st of March. So I will be doing my live month ahead live stream at 1800, 6 p.m. Central European time on Saturday evening in Europe and 5 p.m. in UK. And as you go west through New York, through the middle America, Canada, into the West Coast, I think for the West Coast, it's about 9 o'clock in the morning. So you can catch me at breakfast with a coffee. So the word for the day is rebirth, because I think there's something of that energy in this new moon. Meister Eckhart said, and suddenly you know it's time to start something new and trust the magic of beginnings. T.S. Eliot said, every moment is a fresh beginning. Janet Fitch said, the phoenix must burn to emerge. Change isn't easy. Neither is birth. Rebirth, which we go through at various points on our life path, is a necessary part of the process. An unknown quote is, you were given this life because you are strong enough to live it. So don't forget to live. Sometimes we just exist. And when we get caught in the everydayness and our ruminating thoughts and our overthinking and our the critical voice within that kind of condemns us for being down or depressed or come on, cheer up, you should do this, you should do that. And we hear all these shoulds everywhere. You know, it's about finding a way to be proactive, even if that proactivity is just staying still in the moment and saying, okay, let me put my feet on the ground and be here now. J.K. Rowling reminds us that rock bottom became the solid foundation on which she rebuilt her life. And that is so apt for so many people, especially recovering addicts, whether it's alcohol, drugs, gambling, shopping. You have to hit rock bottom because nobody changes unless they want to. And you can cajole and coax and do everything you can to get someone to wake up and change. But until they're ready, until they've hit their own personal rock bottom, they can't. An unknown quote, this is really interesting, is your new life is going to cost you your old one. Yeah, I like that. Because if we're going to choose a new life, a new way of living our life, moving house, moving country, moving continent, moving planet even maybe, then yeah, we have to let go of our old life. Guy Finley said, "Nothing in the universe can stop you from letting go and starting over." That's true. That is very true. And Malebo Sefodi said, "Reinvent yourself over and over and over until you find home. There is no timeline for the soul." Ah, that is beautiful. And that's true. We can get so stuck and stagnant if we stay in the same place. I know it's not always realistic to change our environment, change where we live, pack up and just go. But it is so good for the soul. There's a Rainer Maria Rilke poem which I can just remember the one line from it. Janice Fitzpatrick, you might know this one if you're watching this, which is, sometimes a man gets up during dinner and leaves his house and never returns. And if you've not come across the poetry of Rainer Maria Rilke, he was a German poet and he was great friends of the sculptor Rodin. And Rainer Maria Rilke was very misunderstood because his mother wanted a girl and she got a boy. And this is back in when would this be? The 1800s, I don't know, I can't remember, I'd have to find the book. But so she gave him the name Maria as a middle name. So his first name was Rainer Maria Rilke. And I think this poor man grew up incredibly confused. There's another line, and I know I'm waxing lyrical, but it's Pisces energy. There's another line which stays with me, which is, sometimes it feels like I'm pushing through solid rock. And I have to find this book and find one or two of the poems and read them to you, perhaps instead of a word for the day, because they are very thought-provoking and quite beautiful. So Alan Watts said, "The only way to make sense out of change is to plunge into it, move with it, and join the dance." Absolutely. And then, of course, Buddha said, and this is really appropriate because we're in the year of the wood snake, isn't it? "Like a snake shedding its skin, we must shed our past over and over again." And bearing in mind, we are at the end of, or coming towards the end of the sign of Pisces, with this massive stellium of planets built up in this part of the chart. With that in mind, I think we have to really think about what this means. And in that sense, to recognize that it's a wonderful opportunity to reassess where you were this time last year, what has unfolded for you, what you have learnt, what you have achieved, what you need to discard, what you couldn't do. Because when the sun goes into Aries on the 21st of March, we begin again. And we have this wonderful opportunity of renewal. We get that rebirth, renewal energy every single morning. But we'll get it even more so in March. Gosh, look at me, Pisces, waxing lyrical, my Pisces moon. Well, actually, of course, this new moon is actually conjunct my natal moon. Well, my natal moon is at 10 degrees of Pisces, and this is at 9 degrees. So this new moon is what we call applying to it. So it will affect me, and I'll let you know how it affects me as time passes, because I think that can be quite interesting too. And let me know in the chat how you're feeling. Are you waxing lyrical at the moment? And look at this, an Astrobite. It's 25 minutes long. What am I like? Anyway, thank you so much for joining me for today's Astrobite. Remember to like, comment and subscribe. And join me Saturday for the live month ahead. No live week ahead on Sunday, just the live month ahead. Can't have too much of this, you know. I mean, I've got to have a rest sometimes. So have a wonderful day. Remember, if you can get outside tonight, to look to the west and see the astronomy of the astrology. Okay, take care and bye for now. Bye.